Good morning everyone, welcome to the race village for the 2021 Rolex Sydney Hobart. It's day 3 of racing in the 76 Blue Water Classic from Sydney to the southern Tasmanian capital, and well, we've got so far 3 yachts in. The 3 Super Maxis have berthed here at Kings Pier. Peter Shipway joins us again. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Pete.
It was an early finish for Blackjack, but in the end, a quite comfortable victory for Line Honours.
Yes, it was, and a fabulous thrill for the crew. We saw them drifting up the river, basically, this morning around about 2 a.m, and to the deserved victory. They'd hung in the first part of the race where probably LawConnect dominated somewhat as we saw them go out the heads, but the breeze, as it got lighter, Blackjack got better, and a great thrill for the crew. He's tried for a long while, Peter Harburg, the owner, and finally he got the chocolates.
Yeah, we were hoping, perhaps, though Peter Harburg wasn't, for a close finish, but really it was the length of the river. In the end, it was about 11, 12 nautical miles that they had over LawConnect, and then Scallywag made up ground, SHK Scallywag, who's had perhaps more gear problems than the other 100-footers, and it was a little bit closer for third, but that's the way they finished, Scallywag being first out of the harbour back on Boxing Day.
Yeah, they had a lot of issues. Speaking to David Witt, the skipper there, they lost instrumentation. We had that drama, the headsail tack blowing out outside the heads, instruments went down, they lost power, so they did very well to get third, but and so did LawConnect, to get second. Those 3 Maxis, obviously biggest boats in the fleet. You expected them to be 1, 2, 3, but I think the great thing about this race, we really didn't know what the order was going to be.
No, and you talk about those big boats coming up the river. There was no breeze this morning at 1:30, and yet they were making a good 4 knots, heeled over. How was that possible when you haven't got any wind?
Well, they've got canting keels, these big boats, so they can tip the boat over to the side they require. And once they get rolling with the apparent wind, that's the wind going through the sails, you can keep the boat's momentum going forward. They didn't lose that, and we saw Blackjack just creeping along 3 or 4 knots, and they did a very good job from the John Garrow to the finish. They were just nicely heeled and just nice slow movement.
Yeah, and there was a warm welcome, if a little bit smaller than normal, given the COVID issues, which they had to then undergo here at the wharf to make sure everybody was clear with the rapid antigen test. So that was a great relief, and then the families were able to mingle and congratulate the successful sailors.
Well, it's always known as a great place to finish the race, and even at last night, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, there were a couple of hundred people down here to cheer them in. A lot of friends and relatives, obviously, but just general spectators that loved the race and just came down to applaud the winners. So it was fantastic.
And there's people here now looking at the boats, and they look brand new, really.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a little bit messier down below. But the focus now shifts to handicap, and this is the overall winner. We've had the Illingworth Trophy presented for Line Honours. Now it is the Tattersalls Cup that they're all aiming for overall Rolex Sydney Hobart winners.
Well, yes, that's right up for grabs. We've only got 3 boats finished, the 3 Maxis. No one else is around Tasman. Stefan Racing and Whisper are struggling to get round. It's been light all night, and they're battling into a building southerly. Ichiban and Celestial are close. They've come right up to Whisper and Stefan Racing. And I think Celestial and Ichiban of the 52-footers are looking strong. But they've got to get round Tasman, they've got to get across the bay and up the river. And then back in the fleet, which the majority are sort of from St Helens north, and a lot are still in Bass Strait, some are off Flinders Island. There's a few little boats that are bringing up a freshening nor'wester that could surprise.
So they should come down the east coast quicker than perhaps the boats trying to get around Tasman.
Yeah, and quicker than the boats ahead of them have been. So that's good for a smaller rating boat. But tonight looks like could be light again. So they're going to be quite brisk today, but they've got to get through tonight. And there's a little boat called White Bay Azuro, who's little.
You've been on that one from the start, haven't you?
Yeah, I've liked him. He's a very good sailor. The boat's very well campaigned, but he's still 200 plus miles to the finish. So, he's 24 plus hours away, 36, maybe even 48 hours. So, but he's got probably one of the best handicap ratings in the fleet. So if you can maintain the breeze, get across the bay and up the river, who knows?
Just hearing from Stefan Racing, they fell in about 4 holes coming down the east coast, but they've got a freshening sou'wester, and they expect to go across Storm Bay, reaching at about 20 knots. And then they're saying we're going to have the sea breeze to come down the river with the A3 Spinnaker up. So, and they're looking for an ETA about 4 o'clock this afternoon.
I think that's right. The sea breeze is building as we speak now. But at the moment, the boat from Victoria's leading provisionally on handicap. I mean, as I said, it's a long way out. That's Chutzpah, Bruce Taylor's boat, but he's 160 miles to go. So you couldn't put any
crystal
money on.
ball
Yeah,
stuff
absolutely,
still, isn't it?
absolutely.
Because we know the vagaries of this, and there's still two big high pressure systems affecting things down here, and that can mean no wind sometimes here in Tassie. So
those 150 miles, they're still 24 hours out.
Absolutely. All right, Peter. Well, thanks for that summation. But last night there was a lot of emotion. You know, sometimes people think that these super maxis, they're guns for hire. They'll race wherever the trophies are on offer. But it really meant something, and we found that out last night from the 3 skippers. Let's meet them all. Mark Bradford, who's the skipper of Line Honours winner Blackjack, Christian Beck from LawConnect, and David Witt from SHK Scallywag.
Oh, look, this is a team sport. Like all sports are team sports. People make sacrifices along the way for a victory. Pete made a sacrifice for a victory here, but it's a team sport, and he's very much the team owner and a part of the team.
How does it feel? Well, we'll both be in tears if you any time. It feels, it is very, very emotional. Yeah, I mean, it is the grand prize of yachting in Australia, and for me, it's the first time I've been involved in the winning team. For Mark, he's done it before, but yeah, very special.
The only problem I think we had is our boat's too heavy for sustained light winds, and we had a whole day of light winds, and to come second in that is great, I think. So I think the crew did everything right. Nothing broke. Nothing significant broke. Actually, a few little things broke, but nothing significant. And we had a good result considering the conditions. If those guys weren't there on this boat's sort of more difficult than most boats because it's so heavy and the sails are so big and the loads are much higher. So in those conditions, it's more important than ever. So they did a great job not to break anything and to get us in the position after the first night. I feel very happy that Peter Harburg won because he's had a lot of bad luck actually in sailing. So if anyone could win other than us, I'd choose him. So I'm glad they got that.
We have a team ethos in SHK Scallywag to endure, adapt, and hopefully excel. We didn't get the excel bit, but we certainly endured and adapted. And obviously, our sailing teams are known around the world for never giving up. We don't do that. So, any thought doesn't exist about pulling out, or it's just how we deal with the problem, the quickest way we can do it and fix it. And we had a lot of that to do. So that's why I'm really proud of the team. I mean, they're an awesome bunch of guys, and even the new guys. We got guys here first timers, first Hobart race, and I think they get inspired by the rest of the blokes that nothing's ever too difficult, nothing's too hard, and we just get on with it. So we just need a bit of luck, mate. We put a lot of importance on how we act and how we look after each other and the sort of image we want to be as a team, regardless of the result. So we've had a lot of setbacks in the last 5 years, and some big ones and some little ones, but as a group we handle it really well. So in saying that, we haven't got a result. We just got to keep having a go, and hopefully one day we'll get a result, mate. Yeah, super proud, super surprised, but it just gets tougher because the closer you get, the closer you think you can win the thing, and the more that goes wrong, that sort of breaks you, to be honest. Yeah, seeing one just text me before. He's up all night following it. He's a fantastic bloke. He's a fantastic team owner, and he's passionate about the whole thing. We've got a foundation in Hong Kong where we teach underprivileged kids to sail, and it's this isn't just a bunch of blokes that go sailing. This is a corporate sailing team that represents a public Sangankai in Hong Kong and all of Hong Kong, really. So probably let a few people down, but it's always next year.
David Witt, the skipper of third place in Line Honours SHK Scallywag, showing what it really means to him, and I think he'll have the fire in the belly to do better in 12 months' time, and fingers crossed that they don't have the gear issues that plagued them this year. But Peter Shipway, it's going to be a while before we see any more yachts in, so anything can happen in the meantime.
Well, I think it's great excitement now to see who's going to be the overall winner, and that's probably going to be 48 hours away.
Okay, well, thanks, Peter. Thanks for joining us wherever you're watching us around the world. We hope to have you back with us later on in the 2021 Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. Goodbye from Hobart.